It's time for another Scarf of the Week, and today we're making a wonderful lace knitted scarf. It's called the French Quarter Scarf. It's inspired by the wrought iron gates that you see in the French Quarter of New Orleans. And this is a bit of an advanced lace pattern. If you've done a little lace knitting and you're ready to challenge yourself and learn some new skills, this would be a great one to try. There's kind of something different going on in every row of this pattern, which makes it kind of fun. So let's look at how it's done. I'm going to start working on row 1 of the pattern, and I'm using a chart for this. Charts are great for knitting more complicated types of patterns, and basically each square of the chart corresponds to one stitch of your knitting, and there's a key here that explains what each stitch is. So I'm here on row 1, and I'm going to slip the first stitch, then knit 9, and then do a couple of yarn over knit 1s. So this row is nothing too crazy. I'm knitting 9, and then I'm going to yarn over, which is just bringing the yarn in between the two needles and then knitting the next stitch. Yarn over, knit 1. Yarn over, knit 1. And each yarn over creates an increase and creates a little hole in the pattern, which is what you want in your lace knitting. Lace is all about having beautiful, strategically placed holes in your knitting. Now I'm going to go to the next right side row, which is row 3. The wrong side rows of this scarf are all purl except for a couple of border stitches on the beginning and end of each row. So basically just purl every row and check the pattern about those border stitches. But I'm going to start on row 3 here, which is slip 1 and then knit 4. And then we come upon a new symbol, which is a line slanting to the left. We look at the key, we see that that's slip, slip, knit. Slip, slip, knit is a special kind of decrease where you slip one stitch, slip the next stitch, then you insert your left-hand needle back into the front of those two stitches and knit them together as one. You can see that creates a decrease that's slanting to the left, and the stitches are not twisted, which is why we do that slipping before knitting them together. Now we're going to knit 1, and then we're going to knit 2 together. And knit 2 together is just inserting the needle through 2 stitches at once. And anytime you knit through multiple stitches, it can be a little awkward to get in there. So you just want to take your time, maybe use your finger to kind of hold the stitches in place, knit 2 together, and you can see that creates a decrease that slants to the right. And the purpose of that is the lace pattern has, of course, all these wonderful lines that are weaving up through the scarf, and you want those lines to be very visible, and you want them to be slanting in the direction that you want. And so increasing in certain ways will create that slanting visual that we're going for. So the rest of row 3 is basically just continuing with those same basic types of increases and decreases that we've already done. So now let's skip ahead to row 5, where we see something even more or something different than what we've already done on this particular scarf. So that starts with a slip 1 and then knit 4. And then we see a new type of symbol coming up. It kind of looks like a little chicken's foot. This is it right here. And if we check the key, we see that that is slip 2, knit 1, PSSO. PSSO means pass, slip, stitch, over. So first we're going to slip 2, 1, 2, then we're going to knit 1, then we're going to take both of those slip stitches, insert the needle under them, and again I'm using my fingernail to get in there because it's always a little awkward when you're going into multiple stitches. There I've got both stitches on my needle. I'm passing them over that knitted stitch, and that's decreasing 3 stitches into 1 and slanting to the left. So that's a little peek into this lace knitting pattern. We don't have time to get into every stitch, but that's really a good overview of what this pattern has in store for you. This is one where you just want to take your time and experiment with it. And it might be a little tricky at first, but I think you'll find after you make it through a couple of repeats of the pattern that you're really understanding it, and you're going to start to feel like you've learned a lot about lace knitting. So this is a really good one for building skills. So grab a yarn and give it a try.